What is going on, guys? Crucible here, and today we are going to be breaking down and doing gameplay for Goku Black. Now, Goku Black is a crit leader. We know crit leaders do not generally have the best track record when it comes to performing in Fusion World, unfortunately. But he did get access to a brand new promo, and it actually does a lot for Goku Black, surprisingly enough. He is a deck that really wants to be consistent in seeing not just his Zamasu pieces, but also his Goku Black pieces. So, in terms of what this is actually doing for him, it's just a matter of Goku Black just needs a little bit more consistency, and he also needs a little bit more, what would the word be? He would need... He's always been a high rolly deck, right? He's always been like, if you see your high roll and you get the high roll off early, like he just pops off, right? What this promo kind of does is it allows you to just be more consistent, while also having additional targets to work off of, while also being able to help you with your high roll, right? So basically this new promo lets you self-awaken. So if you're at 5 life, you play this guy for 1 at 4 energy to self-awaken. You awaken, and then you have your Zamasu target that's on the board. You can then use this card as your Zamasu piece to then play out your 6 cost if you have it. And it'll allow you to play the 6 cost out for 3 energy. So what this kind of helps with too is this extra energy, or saving that extra energy in the later game, will also allow you to have more energy at your disposal for using your extra cards. So I think this new promo is actually fantastic. In terms of the build is a bit self-explanatory for the most part. It's got all your Zamasu pieces. It's got all your Goku Black pieces. As in terms of like some extra like little things that we've kind of thrown in here, we got obviously the crit Vegeta. Crit, just doubling down on crit is a really effective means of attack. I got multiple games here where the crit actually was beneficial in the match. We got 2 of the draw Zamasus because it's a little hard. It's a little bit stickier to remove as long as we're not in a blue matchup. And just having the extra draw power in the late game is actually going to be very beneficial. We got 2 Gohans, just because sometimes it's beneficial for us to remove something on board. Just having something there like that. And then we have Black Kamehameha. Now, I threw this in here as just an interesting tech piece because I wanted to really be able to find our 6 costs. When it comes to searching for your 6 costs in this deck, like you need to see them. You need to see those 6 costs. So not only is this a super combo, but it also allows you to scry the top 3 cards of your deck and then move them to the bottom of the deck if you don't find your 6 cost piece, right? So this is helpful later in the match. But I mean, this deck is more or less relatively standard. If there's one thing that I would change, it's probably removing this Goku Black for probably some more of the vanilla pieces, or even like the 4 costs that bottom decks a 2 cost. Just something, because every time I play this card, like I feel like I whiff every single time. Like we're running what? 4, 12, or 4, 8, 12, 16. We're running 20 Goku or Zamasus, and like I feel like I whiff every time with this. Like I sometimes don't even find one. So, but with that said, let's just jump into the matches. All right, so our first match is going to be up against Orange Piccolo. Now, Orange Piccolo, I think, is probably a hard matchup for us. We have, on the plus side, we do have access to just swinging at his face and getting some really good early game pressure with like all of the crits that we're able to put in, right? So as you'll be able to see right here, we can't swing first, so obviously we're just going to do a little bit of searching. We get whatever piece we're able to get off here. We get our Mai for early awakening if we want to early awaken. I think we do early awaken in this. So he's sitting here and he's blocking crits, which we're going to keep forcing the crits out of his hand because we need to keep his hand size low, right? And we don't have any of our 6 costs, so we don't need to keep the 1 cost Zamasu on the board. There's no reason for us to keep it on the board when we have like a bunch of other Zamasus ready to go, right? And I want to protect the crit because we need to keep our hand size low for when we do get our 6 cost. Because remember, you need to have 7 cards or less in order to free play a card out. So we got our 6 cost. And I'm not going to swing in with a lead swing that, you know, he's able to just take and fill up his hand size with, right? So, now we do... Now, I probably could have handled this just a little bit better. We Zamasu'd and we were able to get one of our 6 costs, but then we played another Zamasu and we whiffed. So it probably would have been better if we just waited to do the other Zamasu, but... So with that, he's going to start comboing up into our face. And he's going to try and remove our crit body because the crit is very detrimental to him. He doesn't really got much to defend with. He doesn't want to use a super combo for this, which is perfectly understandable. Yep, so we're going to play our Goku Black, the one that whiffs on us all the time. He's going to take this hit. He's going to redirect it. But as you see, we whiff right there. So it's good pressure at least. It's at least a 20k body. And at this point, we can let the crit kind of go. And it's interesting because he is just not seeing his pieces here. If he wants to lock down our 3 costs, that's also perfectly fine too. We got a great top draw off of our deck, so we can go here and get rid of some of his combo pieces on the board. Yep, we're just going to keep on just swinging. I mean, there's nothing else for us to really to do, but just swing, swing, swing. So we're going to bring our crit Vegeta back. Gives us a 10 there. And we know the beasts we knew the Beast Gohans were coming. So he Beast Gohans. I was expecting to see the orange Piccolo, but as you can see, he is like just deadlocked in hand. Like he does not have like anything that he can really play off of that's going to be able to remove this. That's going to be able to remove this board, right? Yep, and we just defend everything because we need to keep the pressure up, and from there he just kind of gives up, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean with that hand, it's kind of hard to, you know, it's kind of hard to justify, right? Especially depending on what we were able to draw here. We could have gotten another 6 cost, which we would have been able to just get a free life takeoff with that. Yeah, with a wide board like we had, it might have been a little tough. Normally, I think this matchup is a little hard for us because, especially if he's able to get like the blockers and stuff out, he's just able to redirect his attacks. Yeah, so, but we were able to get it out in the end. We were just lucky, I guess, with his hand size, or with his whatever he had in hand, with the little combo he had. So, on to the next one. All right, so this next one's going to be up against Omega Shenron. Now, again, I think this might be just a little bit more of a bad matchup for us, just for the sheer fact that he's able to gain pretty decent hand size while we're kind of dwindling in hand size. Not to mention, our crits allow him to facilitate his drop condition for awakening. So our crit is actually at a little bit of a detriment in this particular matchup. So, but here we can kind of play a little bit of the slower game. We make sure that we put that back into the deck so it's not as high. But, you know, as we're going into turn 2 here, he's just going to take this. Yep. Now, in this particular situation, yeah, he's got 6 Shadow Dragons already on the drop, so, like, no matter what we do, he's just able to, you know, set himself up. Yep, so he got his 7th, so now he's good to go. And we're just going to... We don't want him to, like, remove any of our Zamasu pieces, so we're going to keep everything active. We're just going to play a little bit of a slower game. Just let him awaken us. And he decides to whirlwind spin that, which is perfectly fine. And we're just going to take the hit because it's a 40k and I'm not going to combo a bunch out. So we got our 6 costs. We're going to clear his board. Now, this was a really bad mistake for us to do. We swung to get a little bit of extra pressure to go into his face. However, if he had Whirlwind Spin in his hand, like, this card was just gone. So that was not the correct decision on our part. Unfortunately, it was just the circumstances of we have to we have to get cards out of our hand. And then we also did misplay here as well. By grabbing a card back from our drop, we were above the threshold to play something out for free. So we had to just swing for 40 and not play something out that turn. So he plays another Vegeta. He starts continuing to mill. We can block these swings with, like, little issue. So yep, and he's going to double block with Black Smoke. Now, realistically, I probably should have played this guy to play something else out, which I think we do we? Yeah, realistically, we could have used this as our evolve piece to keep the Black Kamehameha. We probably should have, because that's technically a super combo. Yep, and once again, the 3 costs, like, we swing and we whiff. And we just got to keep building our board wide and just hope for the best, because that's all this deck is supposed to do. This is a red aggro deck in a blue format. So it's at this point that I expected that we were going to see the double strike maneuver. He was going to swing here, we combo out here. But he just goes for double draw instead. And I think that was probably misplay on his part. He probably definitely should have... he definitely should have just went for the double strike and probably went all in, because we probably would not have been able to combo out. Yep, so we just keep swinging with everything we got. We start adding on some additional pressure by comboing up. So now he's going to have to deal with a couple 30s. He goes down to 1, which I don't think was the correct decision. And we learned from our mistake from the last match, where we just play out a 1 cost. And we don't swing with it because we know he's got Whirlwinds in hand. Yep, so now we swing 40, so we know he's going to Whirlwind Spin and then put a combo on top, so that's minus 3 cards just to protect that. And we go all in and hope for the best, and it was pretty close, chat. 70, our 70 to his 70. So very, 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 very close match. Realistically, like I said, I think he probably should have just double striked and went all in to try to go in there. Because at the very least, that would have been our entire hand, even if we were able to get out, right? If we were able to defend that swing, it would have been our entire hand that we would have comboed out. And then it would just be a matter of him surviving until the next turn, depending on what we ended up drawing, right? So yeah, was definitely a very close match, but let's go on to the next one. All right, next match, we're going up against Ginyu. I was actually excited for this one because it's like we're in Platinum. We're sitting here trying to get some diversity within the format, and I'm like, oh, no Cell, no Boo. By the way, I just wanted to... I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that particular hand, if possible, because I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that we basically cycled our hand, we mulliganed, and we got the exact same hand back, which is just ridiculous. So yeah, one thing that we got against Ginyu here is that our crit bodies are going to be a bit detrimental to him. I think he probably was a little too defensive in blocking these crits, and I think that was ultimately like the downfall in this particular matchup. He plays his crit, which we're just going to take the crit, which unfortunately we lost a super, but you know, it just kind of is what it is. And we're going to protect our crit because we want to keep his hand size low if he's going to defend, right? So he's at 3 cards. I decided to pivot and just start going into his board because there's no way he's going to be able to defend every single one of these hits, right? Yeah, so now he's got no board. He's at 3 cards in hand. He's going down to 2. He's going to wake us up. He just passes here, which is just a little unfortunate. So we're going to bottom deck the cantrip. We're going to start swinging these crits into his face. And then we play out our 2 cost Zamasu, because he's going to be protected. And here we see the new Jason Birder promo. I think this is a really good card for Ginyu. Just being able, every time he gets restood, he draws a card. Basically, which means if you get 2 of these on board when you activate leader skill. If you activate 2 of these when you activate leader skill, it basically allows you to like replace both those cards in hand. Or the cards that you discarded in hand. Yep, so here I was like, okay, we're going to defend Zamasu because we have to defend Zamasu. But now we can just swing into his board. And like, there's nothing he can do about it, so... We cycle out our hand, we got a good 6 cost piece. We put the crit into his face. Yeah, we just starve him. Like, that's all we need to do here is just starve him out. Realistically, this Ginyu player probably should have not defended the crits. And he probably should have just swung at our life and only our life, because... We're both decks that really kind of thin ourselves out in hand, right? So, the idea being that he's able to build his board really wide and then be able to swing with everything on his board twice, essentially, would be a lot of pressure for Goku Black to have to deal with. But he put a lot of focus on just making sure that our board stayed cleared going into it. And honestly, I don't know if that was the correct approach. But either way, Ginyu, I think, could be fun. Is still a fun leader to play. It's just, I don't know if the new promo is enough to help him, but definitely wish we got a little bit of a better showing from Ginyu here. It just is what it is. But on to the next one. All right, this next one we're going up against Kid Goku. I think Kid Goku is still like relatively solid, all things considered. Like, I love his playstyle. And obviously his double striker is very, very scary. So double strikers can be very scary in this particular matchup. So, but we do have crits on our side. He's just going to take these crits. We're going to double down on the crits because we want to try and keep his hand size low as we can. If he wants to swing into our face, we want to be awakened anyway, so this is perfectly fine. Tri-beam to get rid of a crit. Yep, so here we decide to start searching. Decides to raw play out Jackie Chun, which is perfectly fine. Yep, and now we can play. Now we can awaken. If he wants to tri-beam our Zamasu off the board, he can. But he's just going to cross-arm dive, get an extra swing with Jackie Chun out. Now we are a turn behind, where there's no way we can get our Goku Black out this turn. Yep, so we decide to play this out for 1 because we'll have our extras up for defense. Yep, so he's going to play out his crit, which we can go ahead and use this to scry the top of our deck. I don't remember what we ended up seeing. Yep, tri-beams that off board, which is perfectly acceptable. But now we can start playing. So we can play out the new promo, which allows us to play out the 6 cost for 3. And we're just going to keep swinging into his... And we're not going to swing into his face because there's no reason to swing into his face. We're just going to try and disrupt him as much as we can here. Yep, so he double strikes. Double strikes, and he's going to rock, paper, scissors. Which, if he wants to get rid of our Goku Black, that's fine. We gotta hope that we can top deck a second one. Yep. For once, our 3-cost Goku Black actually plays out of Zamasu. We're actually good. But I think we did whiff on the Zamasu, which kind of sucked. So... Yep, once again, we're just going to keep on swinging into his board because there's no reason to swing into his face. We let go of the things that we're able to let go of. Yep, we have to charge there, and we got a fantastic top draw off of that. So now we're able to start clearing board, and we'll actually be good. We decided to take a life just so we have something for combo. Because the odds of him finding another double striker should be relatively low. Yeah, and now we can just start taking hits because we should be able to get out of whatever he throws at us. Yep, and that ends that. So we would have been able to just go into his face and just go for the win at that point. So, very good match against that Kid Goku. Was very back and forth the entire time. So, on to the last one. All right, and so this last one's going to be up against Starter Daima. Was a little surprised to see Starter Daima as opposed to Super Saiyan or even Glorio. But we are running up against a Starter Daima that is using the Evolve package, as you can clearly see. I mean, I think the idea the idea of what these decks are kind of going for is pretty cool. Like this new 2-cost, not new, but this 2-cost card is able to swing for 20 in this deck, and then restand, discard a card, and then you can, for 3 energy, play the 6-cost out. I think is actually pretty cool. Yep, so we're just going to start throwing crits into his face. He's going to Shin out. He's going to play this one. Which I don't know why you would play this one instead of that one. Maybe he prioritized the combo on the SR. And then he didn't swing with this Goku either, so... which I guess makes sense. He wants to protect his stuff, right? Yep, 30, just swing into his face, get as much cards out of his hand as we possibly can. Yep, he boosts up the 2-cost, and then for 3 energy, he's able to bring him out. Yep, and then she's gonna try and starve us out here. But, I mean, we get our promo card off. We awaken from 5 to 4. We can now use that to play out the 6-cost. And then we can play out a Gohan to get rid of the Shin, so that's less aggro against us. Yep. Yep, and then we swing 30, and he's down to 2 life. And we want to protect this Goku Black. Because obviously he's not super comboing any of this stuff. He doesn't have super combos. We want to keep swinging into his face. He plays Glorio, which is an interesting choice. Because then he chooses to swing into our 6-cost instead of our face. And he only puts like minimal combo in. We would have gotten out of that. No problem. And yeah, it would have been game over at that point. I think he went a little too hard on the 6-cost. Like, if you're playing Glorio, you probably should have just played Glorio. It just went all in with lead swings. Again, Goku Black is just a fragile deck. Goku Black is just a fragile deck. He doesn't keep a hand size very long. And yeah, like not going into the 6-cost Goku Black, like you have to deal with you have to deal with a 40k swinger that's free playing stuff every single turn, right? But if you're not running the removal stuff in these like evolve decks, like you have to just go into face. You have to. You're putting in way too many swings and way too many resources into combo up just to get rid of it. And that's a tidbit for newer players. Like if you're going to combo something, you got to make it awkward for your opponent. Like you have to make it worthwhile to comboing a card up to swing into something just so your opponent only gives you 1 card back in return. Like it's not a worthwhile investment, in my opinion. You got to try and make your swings and prioritize your swings to make it the most uncomfortable swings that your opponent has to deal with. So that's why Glorio is as good of a card as he is, because you're minusing leader by 5 and he's swinging for 25. So you're already making that an awkward exchange, because I have to give you, if not a super combo, 2 cards to be able to get out of that leader swing. So like you just keep that in mind when you're going into these matches. But let's wrap up this video. So that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of Goku Black down below. I think he's definitely better with the new promo. I think the new promo is actually very, very good for him. In terms of what I would actually change in this deck, there's a couple things that I would maybe do. I would probably bring this down to 2 and just build up either build up more vanillas, or I would get the 4 costs that bottom decks 2 costs. Just as a safeguard, because those are 30k swings regardless. They're just better cards to play off of our 6-drop. than this guy is. And this is just like a backup tool in case we are not finding our Zamasus, right? This card is only ever supposed to be used for if my hand is bricked up with a bunch of Goku Blacks and I need to start seeing Zamasus. So bringing him down to 2 is probably something that I would do. I would maybe also... We saw a lot of our Zamasus. I would maybe bring this down as well. Just because it's a vanilla that we're not really like using for swinging potential. We're just using it as as a piece there. I know there's the 1-cost Goku Black that becomes a blocker or the Zamasu if there's a Goku Black on the board, right? Maybe that's something we could tech in here. I mean, this card has come through pretty well, being able to draw us a card when in the late game when we absolutely need it. This card came in handy a couple times, just having a 30k body that can potentially bottom deck some stuff. Maybe the extras are a little bit too high. Maybe I could get rid of like Gallic Guns in placement of the Black Kamehamehas instead. Black Kamehameha was actually very helpful. The 1 or 2 times we were able to use it, just being able to look at our the top of our deck and just be able to find the pieces we need. I definitely think that it's definitely a good card in this particular build now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for more Fusion World content, and I will see you guys all in the next Fusion World video. Peace.